Hello and welcome. In the midst of the rising Israeli-Palestinian conflict since the 7th of October 2023, I'm trying to make this video series to aid the public opinion understanding of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In this episode, I try to talk about the unwavering Western support that has historically played a role in the establishment, the strengthening, and the protection of the State of Israel. I'm going to call it from now on the Zionist state, and I have clarified why in my first episode about the history and the establishment of this state. I'd like to clarify that I come from Iraq, and while I'm an Arabic person and I'm proud of my heritage, I try to approach this conflict objectively, to try find a common ground and a solution for ongoing conflict for over 100 years. While I sympathize with the Palestinian people, I try again to approach it objectively and try and find who is the side that is on the wrong and ways of moving forward. I'd like also to clarify that I am a secular man and I do not take a religion as a mean of weighing into this conflict. As I mentioned in the first episode, that the State of Israel or the Zionist state is a settler colonial state established by force and through the help of Western superpowers. Of these superpowers, the biggest three that played the biggest role are Britain or the United Kingdom and France, and the United States surprisingly only coming third with their help of their history. A major milestone in the building of the State of Israel is the Balfour Declaration in 1917. It's a letter written by Lord Balfour, an open letter to the Jewish people that promised helping or the unwavering British effort that the Britain is going to do its utmost efforts to help in the building of a Jewish state over the land of Palestine. Since then, the efforts of the United Kingdom continued during the first half of the 20th century in buying land and building institutions over the land of Palestine, displacing people on their way to building a Jewish state. The second state is France, and I mentioned earlier in the first episode how Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the first Zionist people. Of the recognized or well-recognized characters coming from France is Lord Edmond Rothschild. He was a wealthy French businessman with a lot of political capital. He worked tirelessly during the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, but worked on buying Palestinian land, helping in importing of the Jewish migrants and bringing them from Europe to Palestine and housing them and building institutions. He also worked tirelessly through his political relations in gathering political capital to establish legitimacy to the new formed state. After World War II, the United States came out as the unchallenged superpower in the world, and it became the leader in the protection and the support for the State of Israel. Even the World Zionist Organization moved its center or headquarters from Europe to New York in the second half of the 20th century. Through the last 75 years, these three states have supported Israel through building defense and security manufacturing, supporting them with weapons all the time to deter the dangers that they might face, and ensuring that the State of Israel remains secure and protected against all threats, especially from neighboring Arab countries. the Western media have played a pivotal role, a decisive role in keeping the Western public opinion in Europe and in America completely blindsided by the truth in what the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, how the Zionist state was formed historically, and keeping the public completely blindsided by the atrocities, crimes, and genocide that the state of Israel has committed against the Palestinian people for nearly 100 years. There has been a change, a notable change in the last 10 years on the media side with the rise of social media. Historically, the media was controlled by the Zionist organizations and Zionist lobby and completely controlled what material it publishes. In the last 10 years, the rise of social media has begun to change the game. Currently, as we see in this conflict, that regular citizens and people from all around the world, including the Arab world, are able to voice their opinion, including myself as a regular citizen now, making videos and publishing it that can potentially reach thousands of people in the Western world, in Europe and America. So the Zionists and their media outlet are facing a real challenge that is making them uncomfortable at the moment, where there is a leak. There is a leak in their media machine that is potentially delivering the truth to Europeans and to the American people that can potentially change their opinion and can potentially change the power of government in Europe and in America. Of course, another point we have to mention is the reason for the unwavering support of Western nations to the State of Israel. In the United States of America, for example, the World Zionist Organization and the Jewish lobby is very, very strong. The Jewish lobby is very wealthy and obtains a lot of political capital in America. Any American politician, including those who are running for public office, running for president, they have to pledge an unwavering support to the State of Israel or they will lose. If you dare to criticize the State of Israel as a politician, it is considered an act of political suicide. You cannot win at all. And so any president of the United States, any political leader in America, for example, has to be even more Zionist than the Zionists themselves when expressing his unending support to the State of Israel. But as I mentioned, with the change in media type and media outlets and the prevalence of social media, now these Western countries facing a real challenge. And you see the State of Israel, while it's committing atrocities against the Palestinian people, with the help of the Western powers, they are feeling really uncomfortable these days that they are at risk of losing the battle of public opinion with so much media material, so much substance is coming from the ground in Palestine through people who are trying to be objective or trying to clarify the situation of the Palestinian people, and this material is reaching the American people and people in Europe, and that is making leaders and governments of those countries really, really uncomfortable and feel challenged for the very first time, I may say, for the very first time in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. There is a change in the game. Let's see how will that play in the next few days and weeks and in the future that can potentially decide the fate of this conflict. Thank you.